Hi, thanks for joining us today in the Thundering Legion, and I'm your host, Christine Ross. Did you know that there is a doctor shortage in the United States? That's right. No matter what the politicians say, we don't have enough doctors right now, and we're losing more every day. And that's why the Affordable Care Act can never be implemented. So what can you do about it? What can you do to take control of your own health when a doctor isn't around to help you anymore? Today on the continuing How to Save Your Own Life series, we're going to talk about galangal and heart disease. I'm not a medical doctor and I'm not licensed to diagnose or prescribe. The information on this show is for educational purposes only. Galangal root is related to turmeric and ginger and has been used for thousands of years in Asia where it was originally grown. Like ginger, galangal root helps reduce inflammation, improve circulation, and help stop nausea. Galangal root is antibacterial and has anti-cancer properties. As I said earlier in this series, the German Benedictine abbess Hildegard of Bingen wrote the first herbal work in Western history written by a woman. She lived 1,000 years ago. Modern scientists have studied the work of Hildegard of Bingen and have found that what she said is true. Hildegard of Bingen said that galangal can stop heart attacks and sudden hearing loss. She said if there was an herb that could wake the dead, galangal root would surely be it. Galangal helps stop gallbladder attacks and abdominal pain. Galangal root can be found frozen in the freezers or in powder form in Asian grocers. If you do buy it frozen from Asian grocers, you will need to defrost the galangal root, peel it, and cut it into matchsticks or grate it. That's not very convenient. The best way to use galangal for its medicinal value is to buy it in a powder form from a reputable herb company online. Most of the galangal root that you find in a grocery store will be imported. Like any food, herbs and spices attract bugs. To prevent bug infestation, imported herbs and spices are often treated with irradiation or chemicals. That's why it's best to buy herbs and spices that are grown in your own country, or buy from a company that does not use chemicals and radiation on its herbs and spices. Another problem with herbs and spices is that, like all foods, they can go bad and lose their potency. You have no idea how long an herb or spice has been sitting on a grocery store shelf. That's another reason why it's best to buy herbs and spices grown in your own country from a reputable online store. Galangal root is hot and tastes delicious, like a cross between ginger and cinnamon. The easiest way to take galangal root powder is to sprinkle a half a teaspoon of galangal on toast, mix it with butter and honey, and eat it as galangal toast. Or you could take a half a teaspoon of galangal powder, mix it in water, and take one dose morning and afternoon. Next week, we'll talk about CoQ10 or ubiquinol. By now, you might be wondering how the Thundering Legion podcast got its name. The Thundering Legion is named after the real Thundering Legion, which was the 12th Legion of the Roman army. In 174 AD, the Germans attacked the 12th Legion. The Romans were losing badly and dying of thirst. The Catholics in their midst knelt down and prayed to God to save them, and God answered their prayers immediately by sending them rain to slake their thirst, and the storm itself became like a living thing and drove off their attackers. Another example of the power of group and individual prayer is what happened in Austria in 1955. After World War II, Austria was enslaved by the communists. The Austrians had no way to drive the communists out of their country, so they prayed the rosary by themselves and in processions. In 1955, the communists left Austria without firing a shot. And that's why you should pray the rosary every day for your own salvation and that of your country. The United States is going communist every day. Please pray for the United States that God will free it from communism. Until next week, I thank you for listening, and I encourage you to pray the rosary every day for your salvation and that of your country. Goodbye now.